Uh, okay, now it is recording in progress. I'm Professor Dr. Levent Kenar. I'm the Vice President of TESPAM, and I wish all our participants a very good congress, a very good meeting, and I'm sure that there will be some very fruitful outcomes at the end of the meeting. And because it's important, especially nowadays. Now everybody knows that our world is living in a very cornerstone age, and we had 2 years pandemic cases, and after the pandemics is started to get decreased, then the Russian and Ukraine crisis occurred. So I think after that, our world is going to live lots of crises substantially. So therefore, we have to be ready. We have to get prepared all of types of the crisis, not only the biological or the pandemics, also some energy crisis. So today's topic is, of course, related with the Black Sea energy crisis, but this is affecting the European energy status. And everybody knows that, especially in the recent times, the last of media has written that a very strong, a very difficult winter is waiting for the European countries. And there are lots of restrictions that which are announced to the public to decrease the energy crisis, or to decrease the influences of the energy crisis on the society. So therefore, I'm sure that there might be some very good networks between the countries, and our session is too much related with these networks, how we can provide this network, and especially the countries which are very close to the Russian, or which are in the middle of the Ukraine and the Russian countries. So these countries are going to be such a, how can I say, such a balance in countries to make the connection between the European, the West European states and the Russia. So therefore, we have a very valuable researchers and very valuable speakers in this session. And I really don't want to make my talk longer, so I'm going to transmit the floor to the Romanian, to the representative of the Romanian embassy, Mr. Stefan Tınca, if I'm right in
Yes, perfect.
pronunciation. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, welcome, Mr. Stefan. So because I know Romania very well, I've been there many times because of the Balkan countries medical
Um,
sessions, especially in Bucharest. I spent a very good days in Bucharest. So therefore, I'm cordially also greeting you, and please welcome, and please, the floor is yours. Yes, Mr. Stefan.
thank you, Professor. It's also on my side a great pleasure to see you again, and to see that you are active, and I wish you good luck in your endeavors. Also, my regards to the participants in this event. I'd like to start by thanking TESPAM for organizing this International Black Sea Energy Summit, which, in my view, it's an event that aims to raise awareness on the importance of cooperation among regional actors from the Black Sea region. The Black Sea has always been a bridge between key energy producers and the EU market, and it is an important region to security and supply considerations. Uh, this regard, Romania has actively pursued a policy of ensuring unhindered access to energy resources, while positioning itself as a stability factor in Central and Southeastern Europe, based on transparency, predictability, and reliability. Even if certain progress has been made towards assuring the Central and Southeastern Southeastern Europe energy security, the region still remains largely dependent on a single external energy supplier, which of course historically has been Russia. And there is an important deficit of energy infrastructure, including with regard to interconnections. Therefore, it still is vulnerable to disruptions in energy supply and to the risk of energy being used as a means of political pressure, which is exactly what is happening these days. The most recent developments in the energy field require an acceleration of steps to eliminate as quickly as possible the EU's dependence on Russian gas, oil, and coal. Storage could be affected as the current consumption must also be ensured, and the lack of volumes will accentuate the difficulties of gas distribution with the storage activity and the current levels of consumption. Romania has today reached a level of 85%, which is well above the initial target. Romania also adopted its own national emergency plan for security of natural gas supply, through which a set of measures and procedures were established to cancel, reduce, or eliminate the effects of possible disruptions at national level in critical situation. Also at national level, we have adopted a package of emergency measures for winter. At EU level, and this is happening these days, Romania promotes the issue of capping the price of natural gas and achieving a real and rapid decoupling of the price of natural gas from that of electricity. Today's topic is mainly gas, but first I would like to give you a brief overview of our general energy mix, so that we all understand better the particular role of natural gas in Romania. To this end, Romania relies on a diversified and balanced energy mix based mainly on domestic resources. It's a combination of hydropower, about 30%, nuclear, around 20%, hydrocarbons, 18%, solar 2%, and wind 11%. And there are others, biomass. Coal also remains important with 18%. But with a clear calendar for phasing out of coal by 2032, that's in 10 years from now, and for replacing coal with more sustainable resources. Romania remains focused on meeting its commitments to fighting climate change by further cutting the greenhouse gas emissions by at least 55% until 2030, and by achieving net zero emissions until 2050. These are the national targets. We are firmly engaged in reaching our decarbonization targets by 2050, with accelerated targets by 2030. These goals require significantly higher shares of renewable energy in a more integrated energy system. Today, we have already achieved a threshold of 24% total energy consumption, which comes from renewable sources. And this was the figure for 2020. Our target for 2030 is to reach the threshold of 30.7% of renewable energy in the total energy mix by adding 6.9 gigawatts in renewable power capacity. Based on an agreement with Bulgaria, the offshore wind potential in the Black Sea is also currently evaluated. The National Recovery and Resilience Plans already provide a framework for decarbonization and avoid lock-in effects. These solutions include mainly hydrogen-ready infrastructure, new gas plants able to comply with the targets for 2035, and repurposing the phased out assets for new technologies, such as small nuclear modular reactors, the SMRs. In recognition of the green energy transition and the European Union's emission reduction goals, 4 countries from Central Europe, their gas distributors, that is Transgaz of Romania, Gas System of Poland, EU Stream of Slovakia, and FGSZ of Hungary, agreed on a strategic partnership to explore the possibilities of sharing best practices in the field of hydrogen and CO2 transportation, decarbonization of operation, and hydrogen production. And secondly, identifying hydrogen markets and application in various industries. To this end, a memorandum of understanding was signed in April this year in Budapest. Romania remains decided to follow up on the development in the civilian nuclear field, a position that is not shared by all European members and institutions. But we plan to continue with projects in the nuclear fields. That's 2 more units, 3 and 4, in Cernavoda, and they are progressing according to the schedule. At the same time, Romania is taking important steps to include implementation of small modular reactors together with the American company NuScale Power. Now I will come back to gas, where Romania relies on increasing its production from domestic sources. That's natural gas from the Black Sea, renewable energy, and nuclear energy, ensuring storage for the coming winter and strengthening gas and energy transport infrastructure. For us, natural gas remains a clean energy source and should be used on a temporary basis as a transition energy resource. We intend to increase investments in energy production in order to boost internal energy production and to capitalize on the potential of onshore gas reserves, as well as offshore in the Black Sea, the deep sea natural gas in the Black Sea. On the onshore side, the Romanian state-owned gas producer, Romgaz, will begin extracting gas from its onshore deep Caragele field in 2024. The deposit having an estimated accumulation of gas of approximately 25-27 BCMs, amounting to the country's entire consumption for up to 3 years. On the side of offshore sources, Romania started this year the extraction of gas from the Black Sea, but we are talking of a shallow offshore parameter within the Media field, with the participation of an American company called Black Sea Oil and Gas. The production of about 1 billion cubic meters of natural gas per year has started in June, and this amounts to about 10% of Romania's annual gas consumption. At the same time, on the more important parameters, a final decision on investments at the largest offshore gas deposit called Neptune Deep, and this has about 84 billion cubic meters. This decision is expected to be taken early next year, with a view to starting the production of natural gas somewhere 2026, 2027. Romania has reviewed its offshore law earlier this year, and the state-owned company Romgaz took over from ExxonMobil its 50% stake in Neptune Deep project. Now it's partnered with OMV from Austria. The two of them are basically going to manage extraction from this parameter. Romania advocates the use and expansion of the southern gas corridor, which you know very well. Turkey has a privileged place, and we are very interested in its future expansion of the vertical corridor. From Romania's point of view, the BRUA project, which connects Bulgaria, Romania, Hungary, and Austria, this is a central element of the vertical corridor. And it is essential in interconnecting Central and Eastern Europe with new energy sources from Central Asia, Caucasus, or even Eastern Mediterranean. Even if Romania has a limited range of options in this area, we recognize the contribution of liquefied natural gas to energy security in Europe. And we welcome the recent commitment of the United States along this line. Considering the capacities and experience in the LNG sector, we believe that Turkey can also play a very important role in supplying Romania and the Eastern European countries with natural gas from LNG using Turkish terminals. We welcome the recently operationalized Bulgaria-Greece gas interconnector, which you know has happened a week ago, which will increase energy resilience of Southeastern Europe. And it brings a fresh perspective of supply from Azerbaijan or from the LNG terminals, both in Turkey and in Greece. Recently, gas transmission operators from Bulgaria, Romania, Hungary, and Slovakia proposed an initiative for natural gas transport through the integrated gas transmission networks related to the expansion of cooperation between European Union and Azerbaijan. Based on cooperation between these companies over the years and with support of EU, the operators are confident that such a project would provide a secure alternative route for gas supplies in sufficiently large volumes. The companies emphasize that in a short time and with minimal improvements of the existing infrastructure, the project would be able to transport up to 5 BCMs per year natural gas from Turkey and Greece to Eastern, Central, and Western Europe via these 4 countries. In the end, this should enable European consumers to receive more natural gas from the Southern Gas Corridor pipelines. In addition, Romania has been always supportive of Republic of Moldova and Ukraine in the energy field by means of targeted assistance and increased interconnectivity among our countries. By example, by using Trans-Balkan pipeline in reverse flow and the Iași-Ungheni pipeline connecting Romania and Moldova, which we view as viable alternatives to ensuring imports of gas for the Republic of Moldova and for Ukraine. I would like to conclude by saying that the importance of Southeastern Europe and the Black Sea region is increasingly recognized from the point of view of increasing energy security in the member states of the EU. The new political and economic conditions, the increasing demand for energy resources, the development of investments in the neighboring areas such as the Caspian, Middle East, Central Asia, to find new hydrocarbon reserves and to develop new transit routes to Europe. This highlights the strategic role of regional cooperation and the increasing need for the development of energy infrastructure in the Black Sea. I thank you very much for your attention, distinguished participants. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Stefan, Mr. Ambassador. So it's a very good review, especially under the effect of this the Russian-Ukraine. I have a question. For example, this crisis, this conflict between the Russia and Ukraine, is there any influence, is there an effect of the Romanian people, Romanian government country? For example, is there any decrease in the circuit of this pipelines or gas exchange? And for how much percentage are you receiving the total gas or the Romanian has used? Can you give me some estimation, or is there any definite numbers that you can share with us?
Yes, well, definite numbers, and clearly they don't have the figures for this year. Actually, is the year when the war started, but clearly the dependence of or the share of Russian gas in our energy sector is decreasing. Some years it always oscillated,
Yeah.
but it was never above 20%. I think this year I saw also the figures. I gave you the figures for the storage, 85%. Now the storage, the total storage, national storage, ensures about a quarter of our needs. So that the other part is mainly provided by national resources. And I think this year it should not exceed 9–10%. What we need in addition. Now, we have, Romania has imported its gas, its necessary gas, only from Russia. This is actually the challenge for the times, that we need to find another supplier. And our eyes go mainly to Azerbaijan, but also when we talk about LNG, Middle East, mainly, yes, maybe Eastern Mediterranean, we should see. However, Romania has not entered into a government-to-government agreement with Russia. We are purchasing the Russian gas through European third companies, which are then supplying to Romania. And again, we believe in the situation where we are today, we believe we can cope with the necessities of the winter. If there should be a severe winter with low temperatures and higher domestic consumption, then I think the government, the authorities are looking at possible interruption of some big consumers in the industry mainly. But the idea is not to harm small, medium-sized enterprises and the population. For these clients, I think there should be enough gas this winter. Yeah.
Yeah, and from the things you answered, also can we provide? I mean, we have a land. We don't have a land border with the Romania, but we have a sea border with the Romania.
Yes.
So, what is your points? What's your view on the cooperation that can be provided between the Romanian government and Turkish government, especially in searching for some other sources of the energy, like the hydrogen, sulfur, or the nuclear energy? Are there any attempts to provide some cooperation? We know that Romania has lots of nuclear nuclear plants, and most of the energy is also coming. One of the sources is a nuclear energy. So we are very new. We are very beginner on to use the nuclear energy as a source. So. Do you think that there is a necessity for the cooperation of for the other energy sources, or maybe I don't know? Is there any current cooperations for this aim?
Well, in order to achieve cooperation, first you need to set up a dialogue, and we have entered into a dialogue with Turkey. Both in ministerial level, so governmental level, but also at business. I mean, the companies, Potash and Transgaz on our part. Yeah. About a year ago. It's true that this dialogue has focused on a number of areas. The most urgent, what I've mentioned in my speech, possibility of Romania to access gas from international market through the Turkish grid. But like you said, we are not direct neighbors, so it doesn't concern exclusively Romania and Turkey on this issue. So we still have some road to cover into this end. It's clearly not an issue to be solved this year, this winter. But then there is scope for cooperation on other areas, especially the energy potentials of the Black Sea, be it gas, that, our most important reserves are Romanian, and then Turkey has its own reserves. which is now exploring and going to enter into the commercial phase, more or less at the same time as we. Second area would be the offshore, because we've been in discussion also with Turkish experts, part of the administration, and there is an interest and a very good potential, especially the southwestern part of the basin of the Black Sea, that would provide a good opportunity for Romania, Turkey, and Bulgaria, because we share this part of the Black Sea basin. Earlier this year, when we had the Joint Economic Commission, we made the offer, and there was agreement from the Turkish side to also start discussing more and cooperate on the civil nuclear field, where, like you said, Turkey is at the beginning. We have been using nuclear energy for 25 years.
Yeah.
More. And we'll plan to continue. I mean, this is one of the battles that Romania had in Europe, to make sure that nuclear and gas remain options for the next decades, and not to cut them, as some of the more radical views in Europe at some point seem to prevail. We fought back and made sure that nuclear and gas remained important resources for the transition phase until 2050. And to that end, we are now trying to explore, like I said in my speech, this new generation of nuclear energy, which is developed by the US, and it seems that our authorities are interested to try. And we will have one, we already identified the first location. We are not talking about big plants, but smaller, and they are more flexible and eventually much cheaper to exploit. And we shall see. We plan to develop a national experience on this one. If Turkey is interested to follow this way, I'm sure it will be also good cooperation in the future for our countries.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, but we make you a little bit tired because some questions from the audience.
No, it's just,
Yeah,
okay, I have the
yeah.
light of my office, but I don't know how it is in Zonguldak. But here it's very rainy and very low
Okay.
clouds in Ankara. So
Okay, yeah, because you know the Romania is the opening gate of the Asia, especially the West Asia. So therefore,
yeah,
our
yeah.
participants are really curious about the Romanian perspective, especially on this upcoming crisis. So the question is, that one of the participants he's asking the yeah. What is your idea? I mean, what is the Romanian's government idea, opinion? Are you still agreeing with the other, especially the West European countries? We know there are some restrictions which are applied on the Russian public and the Russian government. Do you believe, or do you think the same thing as the Western European countries do? What is the Romanian perspective on this, on this restrictions, or there are some prohibitions on
You
some
mean
customs?
sanctions? Yes,
Yeah, and
sanctions.
sanctions. What is
Well,
your point of view, especially as a
not
Romanian?
only that we agreed, but we were at the forefront to impose sanctions against Russia. Romania, not only, but also Poland, the Baltic states, a number of countries. We were at the very beginning very much in favor of this. We believe they have impact in Russia. They also have an impact on Europe, have an impact on us. But I think this is what the war in Ukraine and the violation of Russia are so grave, so serious, that we don't need to look only from an economic or commercial point of view to these sanctions.
Yeah, yeah,
Now we see that Russia is continuing and persisting in doing violations of international law, annexation, the proper annexation of four provinces of Ukraine. So this is, in our view, the only way to move on. It's only a way to move on.
Okay.
I know that maybe in Turkey some opinions are a bit different. I can see it, but
Yeah, yeah.
this is our opinion.
Yes, yeah.
Also, bear in mind that our history and
Yeah, it's almost the
uh,
same.
relationship with Russia has been different between Romania and Turkey. So it's also important to look
Um,
from this perspective.
okay. Okay. Sorry about the the last question.
Please,
He wonders the what about the migration? I mean, does the migration affect the Romanian status, especially in the coming winter? I mean, you said that we don't have any short of energy for this winter,
no.
but what about the migration? The migration, migrated people, can they affect the number of or the
You mean
percentage of?
migration from Ukraine, yes, or
Yeah.
migration in general?
Both, yeah,
Yeah, both.
yeah.
Okay, on
Because the
the
number of the people who are
migrants,
living in Romania will increase, so they all influence the energy sources. That's why we have to look at this globally.
indeed, after 24th of February, there have been an influx of Ukrainians leaving their homes and seeking a peaceful place. Uh, I don't know, have the latest figure is about 1.6 million
Wow.
of Ukrainians who cross the border to Romania. But not all of them remain in Romania, of course. I think today it's about 10% of that figure, 150,000 at most, decided to remain in the country. The rest have went westwards in other European countries. This is a large number. Okay, we are not going to brag ourselves in Turkey, which hosts much about 5 million, other figures say 6 million migrants, refugees from other places. But we are coping with this. We have a very responsive, very positive civil society. The population has been very, very much in favor of hosting them, helping them, and also the authorities ensured for those who seek asylum to have basically all the economic and social rights except the political rights, the right to vote and this stuff. But and we have cases of a few thousands of Ukrainians who set up their firms, their companies in Romania, and trying to continue their career from Romania in the field of business, in the field of arts, in the field of education, and so on. So we have some positive stories, but the numbers are not something unbearable. I think we can afford it, and the response of the society has been above expectations. From this point of view, I don't think migration should pose a problem for us.
Okay. Uh, I really thank you for your speech and for your answers, and they are very valuable for our
With great pleasure.
yeah, for our, especially for the perspective or test bombs activities, especially for this 20 and 23. And I'm sure that Mr. President, Mr. Olsan also, we are together with him, and I'm sure that we are going to plan a visit to the Romanian embassy. If you
Anytime.
accept.
Tell me, and with great pleasure, we
Yeah.
can arrange a working meeting. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, okay.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah, yes. Thanks again.
Thank
And
you.
now I was told that there are some connection problems, network problems with the other participants, with other speakers. And if there is no any other question, Mr. Stefan Tinka, and again, we are thanking for this conversation, for this talk. And if there's someone from the audiences, Mr. Oğuzhan, and I can close this session. And I'm sure, yeah, we are going to plan to start at 15:10, right? If there is nothing to tell, and I wish you a very good weekend, very good
Thank
Saturday.
you. The same to you. And good luck
Okay,
with the rest of the
and
event.
yes, we have to know our living days because we don't know what the future is going to bring. You see, every
Sure.
time and every second the agenda changed. So I wish you a very pleasant weekend. Wish you a very good
Too.
life in the future and in peace, of
Thank
course.
you. And
Thank you.
lots of sunshine. Yeah.
Yeah,
Lots of
Nazlı,
sunshine.
yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Yeah, bye. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.